Hello everyone. How's it going? Happy Happy Sunday. How are you? How are you? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the weekend stream. Let's see if I can make things a bit nicer. I hope everyone can hear. Well, can I get some thumbs up in the chat? That's crazy, Frank. Yeah, on YouTube. Super interesting. All right, let's see if I can get the chat working as well. Stream Labs. Let's see if I can send a message. Test. Does it show up? Okay, so it does. Alrighty. So one of the things that I was looking at recently, apart from how to reset my password on Linux, is the agent development kit. Has anyone of you looked at the agent development kit by Google yet? Has anyone of you tried yet? I'm gonna also open this on my phone so I don't miss the messages. Where are you? That's just Reels. Look, I can't see it on at least my phone, so that means I can only see the live streams on Instagram on my PC. That's not good. Let's see if I can move that. And can I zoom in? Yeah, I can. It looks really, really bad there. Can I show it to you? Let's see if I can show it to you. It looks something like this. Let's also remove this thing. It looks something like this. I don't know why it looks something like this. Could be that Instagram or Facebook is still figuring this out, which doesn't seem to be nice. What if we try to go it from here? Okay, so here I see it half cut, so the people wouldn't be able to see half of what I'm saying. Ramanujan says ADK is good, but OpenAI SDK is more stable. OpenAI SDK. What's that? I haven't looked into the OpenAI SDK yet. Enough features to be worth using, but few enough primitives to make it quick to learn. Okay, so you do a OpenAI agents. Interesting. Then you create the agent and the runner. It seems quite the same. And then what do we have? What kind of agents do we have here? Using annual model via lead LLM, that's more or less the same there as well. When you talk about the agents, what kind of agents do we have here? Mm, 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 mm. We have some okay. Let's have a look at the quick start here. So we create a new project. Should I zoom in? I think I can zoom in a bit. So we create a new project. What is the zoom? 150. Okay. We'll make this the default zoom, I think. Or we'll just zoom every single page. So we start with that, we activate it, we install OpenAI agents, okay. Then we export the key, we create an agent like this, and then we have add a few more agents, okay. Okay. Then we have the triage. Okay, so here, this is on each agent, you can define inventory of outgoing handoff options that agent can choose from and decide to how to make progress on their task. Okay, so here, the triage agent, which is also from the same class, has the instruction on which agent to use. And then here we have the history tutor agent and the math tutor agent. Okay. And this is the handoff. Interesting. So OpenAI calls this handoff. Then we have the orchestration. Interesting. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat as well. So here, Baidur Rahman says, brother, can we talk about agentic AI and how autonomous agents will be transforming the market? Also about orchestrating frameworks and the freelance market there. Okay, so you said a lot of things. I'm gonna bring the chat so others can also see that. So when we talk about autonomous agents, we are not only talking about coding them, but also deploying them. I think the biggest part that is still exploratory and is not too much available on the internet on how you deploy them for production or you scale them. There's a little work there, but I think it still is quite promising, to say the least. So we can see that there are businesses who are starting to work in this particular direction where they're creating a lot of agents. But you have to bear this in mind when it comes to the cost. We have both the cost of the large language model used in tokens, and we also have the cost of infrastructure of where you're deploying those as well. So with that said, if the company or the business can work with those two things, you will see a lot of startups, a lot of businesses coming up with autonomous agents that do the same thing as people would do usually, if configured correctly, of course. So I've started looking into things like Cloudways. We have other sort of service providers as well, where you will see that the first, what do you call the first line of defense is essentially an AI chatbot or agent that goes through different questions and then comes back with a right answer. Now, if they're using an agentic framework behind the scenes, I don't really know, but it's quite possible that they are. And then it goes to the human part as well. Now, in some cases, I've not really seen any example where something is being used from A to Z with just AI agents. I've seen, I think, one demo that was about, I think it was a barber salon or something where, I don't know if it was a barber salon or if it was a shopping cart example. I think it was a shopping cart example. It's very viral on LinkedIn, etc. So that was something that had multiple agents, but going through the same conversation. So I think it's still, there's a lot of potential in this particular market and businesses who are going to adopt this. But to go to your orchestrating frameworks, I'm not really an expert in AI, to be honest. I'm looking into a lot of things. But when it comes to orchestrating frameworks, I think it depends on the tools that we have obviously available. So we have OpenAI agentic framework that you see on the screen. I've not explored it at all, but what I've looked into as the Google Agent Development Kit, I've seen that you can create, for example, let's go to it. So if I go to Google agent development kit. So in here, you at least have a bunch of different methods that you could use. And I can maybe show you in agents that for the orchestration, you do have workflow agents. So you have sequential agents, you have parallel agent, and then you have loop agent as well. These three things is something that I find really interesting because you can have flows that go into a sequence. So you have a certain sequence already defined in form of an array, and I have a video that's coming out pretty soon once the editing is finished. But the idea there is you have a sequence of agents that you mention, and then the base, not the base agent, but the, what do you call it? Let's call it the orchestrator. So the orchestrator, which is a sequential agent, decides which agents to pick, and then what is the sequence as well. When it comes to parallel agent, you can have multiple agents initiating a task at the same time. They don't have to be dependent on each other. And you would use that, for example, in cases where you want to have a social media marketing tool that you give it a prompt and then it gives you back, let's say, an Instagram post, a LinkedIn post, a Facebook post. They don't have to be dependent on each other, right? You could also have a combination of it using, for example, the custom logic or custom agent that we have here, in which you can start with something that has a sequential container. So you start with, let's say, a marketing research agent, and then you take the output from that research and then you feed it into, let's say, an ad copywriter or someone who is creating, let's say, the video script, for example, or the script for social media posts. Once you have the script ready, then you can sort of segue into a parallel list of agents which generate the same things at the same time, so it doesn't take too long, if you understand what I mean. So I think those sort of things, when we talk about the concept of orchestration, this is the primary sort of baseline of what it could look like. You have sequential execution, you have parallel execution, and then you have a combination of those, and you can call it custom execution depending on your situation. And you can also obviously introduce a lot of tools in there as well. But regardless of which sort of framework you will use, you will have the same concept. So the syntax would look different, the property names would be different, the function names might be different, the class names might be different, but the concept would be the same. So if you understand this, I think you can basically use anything at all. All right, Akib Hafiz says, by the way, I'm gonna quickly check why does my chat doesn't really appear in the UI. I have to look into. Let's see if I can go. Give me 1 second. And let's see if I can. Because it seems like the messages are not really reaching for some weird reason. Chat box. Click to copy widget URL. Could you try sending? Are you sure you want to launch the widget? Do not share any, protect yourself. Okay. Could you try sending some messages so I can see if I am receiving the messages in the chat, and then we also want to see if they appear right here at the bottom as well. I'm going to change the battery of my camera. I can see your message here, Akib, on the chat, but I can't see it on the stream for some weird reason. Let me quickly update the link in the stream so I can double check it. Give me 1 second. Here, if I copy this guy, and then let's see if I can update the chat widget. The funny thing is I can see that in a different window that I can open, but I can't see it in the widget. Okay, now I see your messages, right? So that works. If I go here, I can see your messages now. Good. Okay, so this works. Something fixed it. and that's all we want. Okay, let me also quit the other things. All right, looking at the other messages here as well, and maybe I think we can also have, I'm gonna also enable chat here as well so we can see all the messages. Give me 1 second. Protect yourself. It says protect yourself. So I can't share it. Site settings. No, I'm not gonna share that. There should be a possibility of just seeing the chat without, and I'm still exploring all of this, so sorry about the magic happening right here. Okay, I think we can live with what we have here. That's fine. All right. Sorry, looking at the questions now. Akib says, hey Ahsan, how's the job market in Sweden? I've been hearing that it's pretty bad lately with a lot of fake job posting and limited real opportunities. Is that true? Share some insights. Akib is asking. Akib, I think I'm not really sure about the fake jobs. I have not seen jobs for a while. It could be the case. The market used to be really bad, I would say 4 to 5 months ago. It has become a bit better. I would say it's still not great. But in Sweden, according to the stats, I think we have about 100,000, 100,000 people who are unemployed at the moment, and it's getting a bit bad compared to what we have, or even I think it's at least right now it's at the highest point of Swedish history at the moment, even more than compared to what we had in COVID, according to the stats. So yeah, it's not as good. Saurav is asking, Ahsan, why don't you bring a full-fledged Angular course? Interesting. I have the crash course there. If I had to write a full-fledged Angular course, that could take a lot of time, so to say. But what I can tell you is that we have a book coming up that covers a lot of things that you could imagine from an Angular course. It would not cover extra things like, progressive web apps, Angular animations, and the likes of those things, which not a lot of people use. Some people use, but not a lot of them. But the core concepts like signals, we have testing, we have how to structure your code, especially when it comes to the signal APIs, like how to make HTTP calls with resource or RX resource for that matter. So those kind of things, you can expect a book coming out very soon. So I'm currently working on it, and hopefully this should come out soon. Embed chat. Can I embed chat somewhere? No, I think there was a way of me actually pulling in chat as well. Let me quickly try to see one thing. There it is. Let's see if I can bring it here. But now I can't really see all the chat messages. But anyways, when you send messages, they're gonna appear here as well. So we have messages here. We have messages in the chat as well. All right. Villa says, hi, next Tuesday I have an interview for my first job as an Angular developer. I loved your video about it. It really helped me remember the main structure of Angular and prepare me more. Awesome. Nice. That's good to hear. Big love from Portugal. Okay. Frank Poe says, the job market in Sweden via the World Wide Web is appropriate for May 2025. If you don't like the weather, we would recommend a home base. business in China selling liquidation merchandise. Yeah, I think the job opportunities are here, but it's still a bit, I would say, if you're a senior developer and you're trying to look for a job that's better compared to what you had previously, and I think it's still, that's a vague term, but it's, for example, as a consultant, it's really difficult to get a job at the moment. I know personally a few friends who have been a consultant and who are not really finding any projects. When it comes to permanent employees, as I said, 4 to 5 months ago, it was a bit worrisome, especially for newcomers, but even so for senior developers as well. But now it has become a bit better, so to say. PSY Doug says, should I get a Mac or Windows for CSE year 1 in college? I would say get a Mac if you can. I don't like Windows. I've been using Windows for years, but I don't like Windows. Good. Akib says, what would you suggest to someone who has had good communication skills and over 7 years of development experience in JS? What steps should they take to secure a job in Sweden? I think it depends on where you're from. If you're basically from Pakistan or India, then you would have to prove that you're good enough so the companies can or will hire you, but then also spend money to relocate you as well, because I think probably that's what you are going to be looking for as well, or you would like to have that, at least, that you have at least your, for example, your travel compensated. For example, when I came to Sweden, it was back in 2019. It was essentially that my tickets were covered, not my wife's, but then also the relocation was also covered, or moving some of the stuff that we haven't even used till today was covered in that. So if you want that, then you would have to prove with your portfolio, with obviously whatever cover letter you are sending to apply for jobs. You need to, I always say this to everyone who asks for how do we get a job or who I'm mentoring, is that you have to reduce the time it takes for someone to make the connection that you're the right person for the job, because we have hundreds of CVs or even thousands of CVs like thrown to each HR person today, especially in the good companies. So how do they know you are a good fit? You have to have good projects that you can show off. A good GitHub would be really nice. So you do have to have some projects that you can quickly show. That also means if you are on GitHub, which you should be if you're a developer, then you have some projects there. You have the README explaining what the project does. You have the setup for developers to try things out. You have it deployed somewhere, so the non-techie people can just go there and try that out quickly. And please, one more time, please, don't have authentication in your application right at the face of the app. Because as soon as some non-techie person goes there, you're asking them to log in just for checking your application. If they have to create an account, nobody likes to do that. I personally don't. So I would say that in that regard, you can have authentication as an additional option for your application, but don't sort of make it a wall between testing the application or for testing the application. So keep it open. And then once you have a bunch of projects that you can show off, then I think it's a bit easier. Hopeful River says, why Windows? I saw a friend, he has a Mac with Windows OS. I would suggest him to get checked in that regard. I'm not sure why would you do that. I don't know. If you have a Mac, then just use Mac OS. It doesn't make sense to use Windows OS there. But the person might have their reason. I'm not really sure. Akib says, let's say if someone is already in that Sweden and looking for a job, what should they do in that case? I would say keep an eye on out on LinkedIn. Try to connect with people who are in the company that you're trying to apply for. Study the company really closely, like what kind of projects they're working on, if their website is up and running, what kind of business they are doing, what kind of developers they have already hired, and compared to the job that's open, you can look into like exactly what skills they are looking for, what kind of projects they are looking for. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. So people who usually try to search for jobs, the biggest mistake that they usually do is that they just create a template and then start sending to everyone. And it's quite likely that there will be hundreds of developers who are doing the exact same thing. And when the HR people see those things, they're like, no, this is copy pasted. So usually they're not interested. And a lot of CVs are just rejected by what's it called, the ATS thingy. So yeah, we could avoid that as well. So I think those are the things that you could look into. And one more thing, I would say, don't be shy in connecting with people on LinkedIn. If you're already in Sweden, one of the things that you could also do is you can start attending some meetups. So go to meetup.com and see if there are any tech meetups that are that you can join. And also there are some hackathons happening as well in Stockholm, for example. So you can join those as well and connect with people, discuss with them, have a bunch of projects that you can show off. And I think then when you apply, when you connect with people, when you connect with the HR, you can send a message to them like, this is a job opportunity that I saw. These are my relevant skills. Go and approach anyone that you think can land you a job with preparation. So don't go unprepared. That's what I would say. Even if you're trying to reach out to someone and asking, can you please refer me to this job? Even then you would have to have a portfolio, have to have something that they can rely on before they can, suggest you to someone. And the same goes if you're trying to apply directly, or if you're trying to go to an HR personnel on LinkedIn for a particular job. You have to go prepared. I hope that makes sense. सर 6 सेमेस्टर में हूँ, DSA हो गया है, स्प्रिंग बूट करूँ या मर्न स्टैक? इट्स अप टू यू. दोनों ट्राई कर सकते हो आप. You can try both of those things and see which one you like. Both have good opportunities. Java has good opportunities when it comes to Spring Boot or backend, so to say. And Munstack also has. I would probably say Munstack is a bit, I don't know. I don't want to say it's outdated, but I think if there's a new project coming in, it's quite likely that Mern would not be used, but rather Next.js may be used in that regard instead of Mern. Because you can deploy Next.js in one single go. It's easier to maintain, it has a file-based routing system. There's so many things that is already baked into Next.js when it is compared with Munstack. And I'm saying this because I started with Munstack. I've been working with Munstack for like 7 to 8 years now. And I've also worked with Next.js as well. So if you really need to have an Express.js based backend that you want to scale completely separately and deploy completely separately, I think then it makes sense to use Munstack. But otherwise, I would just go with Next.js with Postgres as the database. That's usually my preferred tech stack. I hope that answers the question. I'm going to quickly reply to some of the messages I'm getting. Give me a couple of seconds. Oi, what is this? Okay. Okay, nice. I went on a little vacation and I got some money back, so I'm happy. Abdurrahman says, I was on the wrong platform, was texting on the Instagram screen, is cropped there. Yeah, I think Instagram is sad. I'll probably not stream there. Let's see here. Oh, I can see the messages here. So here, Hasnan says, what should I do? It's really hard to have good live streaming on Instagram. Let's see. We have Assalamu alaikum here. Yeah, I got you. I saw you here. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Hasnan says, I've done software engineering in 2021, but I do not have any expertise in technology. Now I really want some job. Okay. So to have a job, Hasnan, you have to have skills. So I can't really have someone paying me unless I can do something for them. So you need to not have just the knowledge. If you it's the same as studying carpenting, or I don't know, being like an electrician course, but not being able to do that is not going to get you money. So maybe not a great example, but just having a theory of something doesn't bring you money. You have to have the skill set, the experience as well. For experience, you need to build projects. So if you want to get paid, you need to be good at something that people would pay you for. So try creating a bunch of projects, get good at things, and then start applying for jobs. Karthik says, semester 6 BTech, what I should do? MERN, Spring Boot, Tier 3 college. As I said, you can start with Next.js, or if you're just exploring, you can do either. I would say if you want an easier way out, go with MERN. What would you suggest? I can also maybe... Will there be a good full stack or JavaScript jobs in the future as AI/ML versus cybersecurity? I think full stack jobs are not really going anywhere. Even these tools with AI/ML, the interface needs to be there. There have to be some backend calls. There have to be some front end there. So I don't think the core of this is going anywhere. AI assisted development is a thing today. So you can't really ignore the AI tools. So you need to start using the AI tools to get more productive, to learn as well, and not completely relying on them. But the jobs itself for full stack is not going anywhere. So you can still have jobs there. Versus AI/ML, I think AI/ML have a lot of jobs as well, as you may know. So we have different platforms, different startups, all of them essentially coming in with so many cool things when it comes to AI/ML. So those jobs are there. Full stack JavaScript jobs will be there as well, and cybersecurity, of course. I think the cybersecurity one is a bit tricky because they're not really. I'm trying to understand how many people of cybersecurity in a company would be compared to how many full stack developers would be, if you understand what I mean. So yes. Payment account says, hey payment account, how are you doing? Abdurrahman Ujjan says, vibe coding. Not really vibe coding. I think the problem is vibe coding is a term that has now grown to something that I would rather call AI assisted coding, because vibe coding means that you don't really care about the output at all. You don't know what you're doing, and you're just saying click, click, yes, 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 go, good. You're not really doing anything. When we talk about AI assisted coding, we are talking about actually looking into the response, negating some of the things like, okay, you can't do this, don't do this, instead of this, do that. That is something that I would say is going to benefit developers, especially when it comes to someone who is a bit more experienced. So it may not help junior developers as much. I think I can say with quite certainty, as compared to how it would do with senior developers who already know what they're doing, who want to do things fast and don't really want to code everything by themselves. So they use AI to assist them as much as possible to write their code, but they understand what's going on. So that's not vibe coding. The vibe coding is just, yeah, drinking coffee, pressing a bunch of buttons and not really knowing what you're doing. Karthik says, भैया 3 months में placements है college में, tier 3 college है, क्या करूं? पढ़ाई बहुत सारी. That will help you. Okay, good. So I have to actually see one thing, and that is I have a talk coming in, and I have to prepare for this. GitHub repository, what is this? Better build that's for Node.js. Interesting. I'm looking at the messages in just a bit. Give me a second. Events. By the way, what do we think about having a workshop on the Google AI stuff that's happening? We can look into, I think, some things related to deploying on Google Cloud. We can also look into Gemini itself, creating some applications with Python. We can also look into agent development kit as well. That could be interesting. What do we think about that? Should we arrange something next month? Maybe. Filter by applied to. Yes, this is the one. So this one is happening in Belgium. Okay, invitation pending. I think okay, so I accepted the talk which I have already created. Good, no problem. So I'm good. Bro, can you review my portfolio? Yeah, you can share in the chat. We can have a look. पढ़ाई में क्या? पढ़ाई में you can focus on creating projects with these technologies. Or with MERN. You ask about MERN, right? Or no? What did you ask about last time? Karthik Chaudhary, BTag, MERN or Spring Boot, right? So yes, you can start looking into MERN and create projects. Make sure that when you have job placements coming in, you have already some experience for creating good applications, or not. When I say good, I mean something that's usable. So create something that can be used by someone. So it has a whole user flow. It doesn't have to have login and sign up, but it's usable somehow. So you can look into that. Ahsan bhai, if you want to buy a new chair, which specs you want that? I think the biggest would be that it has a back support, so to say. So you should have a back support. It should be ergonomic, so it doesn't hurt for you if you're sitting for a long time. It has good padding. I don't think I need RGB lights in that. And also the the handrest should be also pretty nice and decent. So for example, if I don't know if you can look into this, but here you have like the handrests, so to say. So good padded handrests, so you can rest your hands. And then also you can have something here for your headrest. And then, for example, for the back, I have this thing. So like a pillow. So when you're sitting for a long time, you don't get stressed and you don't get tired. I hope that helps. Xade.dev Vercel.app. Oy, oy, oy. Karthik says, भाई आपका कितना पैकेज है, कौन सी कंपनी में और कहाँ? I work at Scania.com or Scania, so to say, in Sweden. और ख़वातीन से उनकी उम्र और हज़रात से उनका सैलरी कभी नहीं पूछते, तो no comments. So this is a company. Yeah, you can find this in India, by the way, if you're from India. I'm assuming you're from India. So you can find Scania. I think they do have an office in Bangalore or Delhi. I'm not really sure, but you can find it. And this is a company that helps build a truck. It's the biggest company, or at least in Sweden, I think it's the biggest one, but it's also one of the biggest in Europe as well. I hope this helps. Okay, Zed. Yeah, this doesn't seem professional to me at all. I'm so sorry to say that, but I find this quite disturbing. I also don't see the point of this here. So it could be quite simple without so much animations. I don't see a point of this as well. I don't see how it adds. If I had a company, I don't see how it adds value to my company. So there's no value in it. Some people may find it okay, some may not. I'm not really sure. So yeah, just giving at the top of my head what what I can see. So home, projects, certificates, resources, blog, content. We have light and dark mode. Contact me. Skipping buzzword software engineer from India. Scalable full stack apps, orchestrate deployment, instant coffee. I don't know what this means. Okay, so we have another link here. I'm not really sure why, but you have to understand what is your own, or what is the aim for you to have this. Is it for attracting different HR personnel? If that's the case, then you should have things that can be seen, like projects that can be seen directly. You have LinkedIn, GitHub. This is important for me, so GitHub would be one of those things. If it says GitHub here, I think that would be more helpful for me. Then I can see 87 followers. I can see some skills here. Then you have free resume maker that has been forked. You have a YouTube player. All my links, otaku search, quantum circuit. Okay, so this is your own project, and this is your own project as well. What does this do? Search a video or select from the playlist to begin. Where's the playlist? Okay, so I have to make my own playlist. Crash course. Okay, yeah, quota exceeded. I've gone away from that. This project is really good. So you have a bunch of stars here. You have a bunch of folks here as well. So that's a good project to show. Maybe this should be your first project. I'm not really sure. Free resume maker. ATS friendly resume maker. This is also a good project. I've seen a couple of these by now. I think this back here is probably unnecessary because it's blending with all the inputs that I have to put in. So I don't think it's more accessible compared to if it was just a plain black background or white background even. Work, tech flare, education. For some reason, the website jumps a bit every now and then, like this. You saw? I'm not gonna do anything, and this is happening. I'm not really sure why this happens. Maybe fix that. Feature projects. View more. These are your projects. Okay. Tech flare, type spree. Side expert, Arctic UI. The GitHub page for this is not found. Recent posts. Okay, I'm lost. So I would say in general, it's okay. You have some things that are more valuable, but if you're actually looking for a job, I wouldn't say that's a really good site to have that. If you want to just show off what you have worked with, I think it's okay because you can have as per your choice, so to say, whatever you want to have. But overall, there's a lot of good work that you have done. So that's nice. I cannot send the link here. I understand that. Brother, I'm building an outbound calling agent to automate the first layer of call center operations lead qualification. I've built it using TypeScript, using Twilio and MongoDB. I too am struggling with, I think you meant scalability. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn and we can discuss further. So RAG versus fine tuning. If you want to do something quick or relatively quick compared to fine tuning a model, I would go with RAG, especially if your context keeps getting up to date or updated. So you need all the time, you need the latest and the greatest context. I would say keep using RAG because it's relatively easier to manage. It costs less compared to fine tuning. And then you have the relevant information all the time. So I would go with RAG in that case. If you really want to have like super accurate answers, narrow down the scope of your model, having it not answer anything outside of it, you need accuracy, you need context, all of that baked into the model itself, then I think fine tuning is going to be your friend. But as I mentioned before, if things get updated rapidly in the environment that you have and the context that you want to give to the model, then fine tuning is not a good option, because then you're going to be fine tuning every now and then. But if you know that you're not going to fine tune quite a lot, then I think it's probably worth having fine tuning once. So you don't have to have additional context, you don't have to have a vector database, so on and so forth. My kid came back, so I'm going to be right back. Give me 1 second. Or not 1 second, a couple of minutes. All right, let's come back. Okay. Da, 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 da. Scalability. So also, can we talk about autonomous outbound calling agents? We can, but you have to be specific on what you're looking for. That says, all right, thanks for the feedback, no problem. Bhai, आपकी native country कौन सी है? It's Pakistan. I'm from the city Karachi. I know autonomous. Sorry, give me 1 second. I know autonomous outbound is deemed illegal in the US, but it's just about time when they adapt. Hopefully. We can't be too sure of it, but hopefully. I built the entire backend using TS instead of conventional approach of using Python. That comes with a risk, but I think it's not impossible. So yeah, all the best. Bhai, आपकी job कैसे लगी? College? No, I got my job here in Sweden after having, I think, an experience of 6 years maybe, or even 7 years. So I got my job after my university. The first job I got was after my university. Then I got my second job, my third job, my fourth job. I worked at my fourth job for 2.5 years before moving to Sweden. And that was a US based company. Abdul Rahman says, I've self-learned everything. I know many languages and technologies, and now I have a strong portfolio too. I worked with the government of Pakistan, says Abdul Rahman Ujjan. not me. How do I land a good job with a college without a college degree? Well, you show your portfolio. In one of the companies, I'm not gonna name the company, but in one of the companies that I've worked with, the president of engineering, he was a person who did not have a degree. So that's not required, so to say. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Thanks for the review. I need to remove some unnecessary animations. Yes, absolutely, yes. Okay, so one of the things that I do have to look into is I was looking into this accepted. I'm gonna also confirm from my let's see if I can find it. LinkedIn. I don't know why my LinkedIn is just now opened in Arabic. You see this? I have no clue why. الرسائل الجديدة. Okay, how can we let's try to figure it out. So one interesting tip I can give you. You right click, you select everything, you right click, if I can select everything, and then there should be something called translate. I don't see that, or at least I see that in Google Chrome. الخصوصيات تجارية QnA. It should be somewhat around here. Premium خدمات دبي الإعلان سوق الخدمات. I don't know, maybe I can learn Arabic from here, who knows. Okay, let's go back. Let's see if I can open it without the Arabic. It's usually somewhat around here, or maybe I need to log out. I will probably do tasjil al khuruj. There we go. Well, why does it make my language Arabic? Here, let's say select English for sure. Okay. Then we sign in with email instead. And let's see if I can go with that. No. Let's see. Hello? Background में event चल रहा है. What do you mean? Do you mean in my background? No, it's my kid most likely. Change LinkedIn language from Arabic. Arabic language tutorial, no. So how do we go there? Let's see. Select me, settings and privacy. Okay, so we go here. Al-Manshurat wal-Ansha wal-Anshitah. I think that's the one. Is that the one? Translate or English to Arabic. This is so much fun. Tarjuma. Okay, from English to Arabic. And we want to go from settings and privacy. Al-Adad wal-Khususiyah. I think that's the one that we are looking for. Do we so? Here. And then Oh, now I see it in English. Why do I see it in English now? Okay, language here. Al-Arabiya. Nahi. English ka. Get verified. Did I get verified? I don't think so. Hi, Ahsan, are you looking for a job right now? No, not at the moment. Am I in the right profile? I hope so. No, this is not my profile. So see Singapore. Why is it? No, I think this is a completely wrong account from my email. That's super weird. Thanks for the review. Okay. भाई आप मम्मी पापा के साथ रहते हो या अकेले? Karthik. I don't live with my parents at the moment. What are we doing, Trio? I'm trying to log into my LinkedIn, and the way it seems like it's trying to log me in is not the one that I want to go with. So yeah, let me log in without being more embarrassed. It says that's not my password. How do you know? Did I change it? I think I could have changed my email actually. Let's see. Let's see. And hopefully we should be logged in. Check your LinkedIn app. Okay, now we are getting into the right one. Yes, it's me. Chale ji. Okay, finally we are in, and that's not. Now I know why sometimes when I try to log in, it would just log in with Arabic instead. Okay, good. All right. So what are we doing? We're just chatting, asking questions, answering questions, and I was hoping to look into something related to AI, but it's already 1 hour. I do want to look into the talk I have to give, hopefully on the 6th of May, and this is this one. And I'm just gonna quickly see if anything that I mentioned here is not what should be. Da 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 da. By the way, has anyone of you attended one of these talks that I've given? I gave this in. So see this one. This could be improved. So I gave the talk in Karachi in 2024, end of 2024. Let's actually fix that. By the way, if you want to create your own slides, you can use my template as well. I don't know if you know that or not. But it is this one, reveal multi slides template. You can just click here, use this template, and you can create your own repository with the template. And this allows you to have this sort of, I'm not really sure if it's exactly the same, but most likely it's the same. So you can have multiple slides of content that you can write with Markdown, and you can then render them just like this. This uses behind the scenes something called reveal.js. So you can use that. But let's quickly clone this so we can it's projects, and then we can do git clone, and then we can clone slides. Try says finding a job is hard these days. Ha, yes. Khushbu Jamali sir, assalamu alaikum. How to start freelancing? Create a freelancer account, create a bunch of projects that you can show off as your portfolio, and then for every freelance message or potential message that you send to a client, be authentic, show that you have read the project description, ask questions, and also share the approach you are going to take for solving the problem. Once someone reads that, they find you more attractive or more likely to work with you compared to if you don't do that. So I hope that helps to some extent. Okay, so we do have this guy here. Maybe we can zoom out a bit. So let's see. And do we have to have npm install? Most likely yes. We'll install that in the meantime. Okay, thanks sir, no problem at all. Okay, so we have that. We run npm run dev. We got it localhost 8000. Where did that open? Nope, nowhere. So we go to localhost 8000. This doesn't look good at all. What happened to this? Running the server here. What happened? Did I miss something? Ooh, this looks really bad. Let's see what's wrong. Refuse to apply style from because MIMA text has enabled. Why is that? Is it something that changed in the setup? Index.css. So we are trying to do it in this index.css. Okay. I think maybe it's not created at the moment. And I also see my camera just died. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can also open npm run build. Okay, so we got something there. And let's quickly zoom in a bit as well. So this one seems to be working. If I now run dev and go here, refresh, there we go. So this works now. Just had to do a build there. So let's quickly go to what if your content could talk. This is now running locally. And what did you have with the question? Crazy theme. Haha, thank you. भाई कहाँ अप्लाई किया था आपने जॉब के लिए? LinkedIn पे. It was on LinkedIn. But for this particular job that I got in Sweden, I did not apply myself. So they reached out. Shazib, assalamu alaikum. Which project? I'm just fixing some slides and answering some questions in the chat, as you can see. So no particular project at the moment. But we are going to work with some projects, hopefully in the coming streams. I would have worked on the book, inshallah. So we'll see. I hope we will be able to do it. Okay, so let's try to find it. So it was what was the slide about? It was Gemini 1.5 Pro, right? So let's try to find it. Gemini 1. So here it is. So we can maybe say 2.5 Pro here. Llama index for RAG and let's see if we can see that here. Good. By the way, also, as I mentioned, you can use the template for creating your own slides. This is called revealed multi-slides template. I can maybe share that in the chat so everyone can see that as well. Let's see if I can do that. And I create this and when you go there, you can see the deployed version as well. So the CI/CD is also there. And this is, for example, one example of how it could look. And as you can see, I have to just write markdown, and then it renders it nicely when it comes to, yeah, showing it. So let's quickly see one thing, because I remember something was not up to date here. So we do have this here. I think we talked about this. This one I think could be better. Let's see. RAG advanced LLM techniques. I think I created that in Exalidraw, and now I don't really remember how I did that. Okay, let's see. And this was before 101. Okay, let's see. So generative AI 101. Web dev basics. What if your content could talk? It should be here. And we have history here, right? So this, okay, so I used some images. Now I have to update the images. I'll see if I can find that. No testing today. No, unfortunately, no. भाई कितने की सैलरी आपकी अप्रॉक्स बता दो. As I mentioned, don't ask a lady their age and a man his salary, because it's not going to benefit you anything. It doesn't matter. Which programming language do you think web developers must be known need in 2025? I would say the basic is still the same. You need to know about HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You need to know them. Apart from that, you can look into Python, because it enables a lot of opportunities, so to say. Shall we talk about 3D web? I don't know what you're talking about. What is 3D web? What if your content... I think I'll probably leave it. Let's see if I can find. No, I think I won't be able to find it. Maybe I can find it. No. I do remember saving it somewhere, but now I don't really remember if the file was there. One thing that I could also change, I think, would be the demo. Karthik says, how much time is it right now in Sweden? It's about 7:21 p.m. So 7:21 p.m. We could allow notifications. I'm not gonna do it now, at least. But I wanna also change the code for Gemini. No, that's gonna not find it at all. I think I'm probably using Flash somewhere. Yeah. 1.5 Flash latest. So we are using that. I think we could use the 2.5 Flash one. And this one's identifier is Flash preview. So we could use this guy. Or we could use the old one, to be honest. But let's see the price here. So we have this one. It's $0.15, and then non-thinking one is 0.60. Okay. If you go here, it's the same. No, sorry. 0.15. This one. Okay. I think it's the same. We could use... Oh, no. I think the 1.5 is still cheaper, because If you have an input that's less than 128,000 tokens, it is still gonna be a bit cheap. So maybe 1.5 flash, I would say. Let's go with the 1.5 flash. We can remove this latest thingy from here. Okay, then let's quickly see. Okay, good. I think we are good to go. So let's actually try to run all. Trio says React library is also a very good way to start. To start what exactly? Trio? What do you mean? 3D web development. What is 3D web? Exactly my question. भाई रोड में बता दो आपकी जैसी जॉब लेने के लिए मेरी जैसी जॉब लेने के लिए इट टुक मी 11 years. जिस जॉब पे मैं अभी हूँ, if you want to know how I got my job first in Sweden, that took I had about 6 years of experience. So a lot of projects on GitHub, a lot of articles that I wrote, some videos I created, I spoke to a bunch of conferences, and I had a good portfolio. So that's the roadmap. You start learning different frameworks, or you start whatever you're learning, for example, basic HTML, JavaScript, CSS, you start creating projects with that. It's important to create projects. That's the key. Once you have the projects created, then you talk about them on LinkedIn. You talked about them via articles on dev.to, medium.com. You show that you have those expertise. That's the key. At least that's what I think is the key. Okay, so we have this. Let's actually double check. So allow the session, restart the session, and then we are going to also try to run this again. Pop-up, allow pop-ups. Let's try this again. React to start learning. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you need to know the basic web as well, not just React. But yes, I think you can learn along the way. Let's see if this works this time. And we should be able to get the credentials and then run everything in here. Up. Yes. Langil, yo man, how are you? I'm new. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I'm good. Thank you for asking. कार्तिक says भाई आप वर्क फ्रॉम होम क्यों नहीं करते? पाकिस्तान से ही मैं वर्क फ्रॉम होम क्यों करूं पाकिस्तान से? Give me a reason to do so. अच्छा, here we have, okay, everything looks good here. So the notebook worked fine. I'm not sure if I should update the example here. For those of you who have not seen the example, what this code basically does is it uses Llama Index. It uses the Google Generative AI package. And then it essentially creates sort of, it looks at a document from the internet, which is this one. So it uses RAG on top of this or on top of this document. And then it also creates some embeddings using this. And once it has generated this vector index, then we use a query engine and we use it to ask questions. So we can say query engine.query, I don't use dry, or I can ask any questions from this, and then it would respond accordingly. So if I go here and we can ask, I think we can ask different questions as well. Let me see if I can find the link here, which is this, and let's see what it also has. So avoid deep nesting. So here, if I ask it, and this is regular Gemini model, but since it has context of what I have provided it, I can actually ask more questions from it. So here, if I go ahead and say something like, let's say response equals query engine dot query, and here give me an example of avoiding deep nesting, right? If I do this and then we try to print the response, this is how it would look like. So now this is gonna go to Gemini, and here you can see that here we have if condition execute. Now what I'm gonna also ask it is give some exam, or give in the form of good versus bad examples. Now let's try to run this one. And here you have the good example. So if condition execute, bad example if condition, another condition, yet another condition, and then execute. If you look at this, this is exactly from my code base. So when you use RAG, you have the possibility of adding context to your large language model, and then it responds accordingly. So you can imagine building an agent that that allows you, or that allows your developers in your team to search for good and bad practices, or if your code has access to your own document, let's say via an MCP tool, then your code's model can also have this information as well, which is super interesting. Open PowerShell on computer and npm create latest. Yeah, npm run dev, that's all. Is it npm create latest still, or is it changed now? Let's see. Can I go to, and let's see. Now I'm going to show you some weird magic here. So if I go, wait. Not what I wanted. Does it say, or does it ask what I should create? Create latest is not in the registry. I don't think that works. Wasn't this something something a bit different? मतलब आपकी family वहीं है इसलिए, Karthik Chaudhary. Yes, I know my family is there, but yes, there are reasons still, because the job here doesn't allow remote work from Pakistan. Coding ASMR Pradev भाई Angular अभी start किया है, तुम्हारा pet store वाला project follow कर रहा हूँ, कर सकता हूँ क्या, React आता है अच्छे से? Yes, you can, absolutely yes. It's a really good project to start working with Angular. Even I think a better one would be to look into the 90 minutes crash course. I think that's probably better to start with. So in 90 minutes you have a good understanding. So if I find this one, I think this is where you should start with, and after this you can start looking into the other one, the Angular Nest one. But I think this one is a must recommend. It's like 5.4 thousand people have sort of approved it. But in here we should have Angular and Nest.js, this one. Is this the first one? Yeah, part 1 of 3. So also, if any one of you want to have a full stack project, you can essentially start looking into this one, which is based on Angular and Nest.js. Naman Thakur says, what is the name of the transparent browser extension that you're using? I'm using Arch Linux at the moment. So I have set it up in Hyperland to make it transparent for both the browser and the code editor as well. Or no, I think I've made it for the browser and the terminal. What are the most compatible frameworks out there besides Angular? I think, I mean, when it comes to the most... what do you call them? The mainstream frameworks, we have React, we have Angular, we have Vue.js, which has a really good community. Apart from Vue.js, we do have Svelte as well, which is pretty famous. We have Astro as well. A lot of people are building with Astro. I found it pretty nice as well when I experimented with it. And then we have Next.js, of course, but with React. So yeah, those ones. Wait, don't move my chat window. All right. Having said that, I'm just gonna check if my so these screenshots are a bit outdated, and I'm thinking if I should, I know I should probably update these. Handpicking waving gaming 2022, how's it going? Maybe we can update these as well while we are at it. So let's go with 2.5 flash preview, right? And then we can start with this. So we're going to update these screenshots, but feel free to throw your questions in the meantime. Can you help me write an essay? Maybe I need to, yeah, I definitely need to update the joke. Can I save the file? Save. Maybe this could go away, I think. Or maybe I could use this actually as an example to go later, right? And I could also go ahead. Is it shift? No. Is it A? Yeah. So here we have an example of avoid deep nesting, right? Let's run this. Okay. So here, I think we're good. I'm also going to run this once more. I'm going to save this as well. And then we can update the screenshots as well. So I have something to present on the 6th of May, hopefully. All right. So can you help me write an essay on why I... Can you help me write an essay or a letter to my father, let's say, for why I want an RTX 1590 for my studies. So we go with this, right? And in here, we should see the token count as well. And now I forgot what is the key for screenshot. Okay, I remembered it. So here, but maybe I should go with this. We take the screenshot that goes there. What is the second one? What kind of animal is it? How long does it live usually? Can we generate an image here? Let's say I'm writing a chat, okay, a prompt for an AI tool. I want to support it with an image. Generate that image. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. I'm asking one AI tool to help me create an image for another AI tool, and let's see what this comes up with. Oh, it actually went ahead with the letter. Okay. A split screen image showing. Okay, let's see if I can ask it, can you generate that image for me? We actually got a letter. That's crazy. Okay, let's see. Bro, how did you have those transparent Chrome tabs? I'm using Linux, and there's a setting in my configuration. So if I show it to you, I think it's in hyperlend config. No, you can't really see D into a file, but I can go ahead and say in Vim, and we have this guy right here, and we have somewhere called Chrome, and there we go. So here we are using the opacity that you can see here. If I change this to 111, then it doesn't become transparent. So if you get to Linux, then you can do it. It took me like a weekend to install and configure on how I want it to look, at least. Okay, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna use it actually in during the talk. I'm gonna use it during the talk. So we take this screenshot. No, that was not the one, but okay. Shift. And okay, we already took the screenshot for this one, right? Let's add an image. I think we could add it from downloads. Is it not in downloads? Is it in pictures? I think it should be in the pictures. Let me see if I can figure this out. Where's the file that I downloaded? Let's see if I can find it. It should be... no, I'm gonna say no to this, but then here we have it. Right, so we add this image. And the token count should go up. भाई बीटेक 3 ईयर में हूँ, कॉलेज जाना चाहिए या नहीं, घर पे पढ़ाई करूँ? Go to college. I think right now you should go to college. All right, so we got from 27 to 286, right? So we go and pick this one as well. Okay, good. Then we have the response coming back, right? I could disable this actually, but okay, let's see. Okay, here's the draft letter for your you can adapt. Remember to personalize it with details about your specific studies and how RTX would directly benefit them. Your name, your address, blah blah blah. Date, dear dad, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to you today about something important related to my studies, and I wanted to explain it properly. As you know, I've been working hard on mention your field of the study, computer science degree, my data science projects, my engineering situations. It's fascinating work and I'm learning so much, but I've recently hit a significant bottleneck with my current computer hardware. Interesting. It's a huge one. Lately, I find myself spending an increasing amount of time just waiting for the complex programs to run, especially when dealing with large data sets, training machine learning models, etc. Okay, my current laptop, while great for many things, simply is not designed for the kind of demanding computational tasks that are becoming essential in my coursework and projects. It gets hot, it slows down dramatically, and honestly, it causes a lot of frustration and lost time that I could be using for actual learning and the problem solving. Interesting. This is where a specific piece of hardware, a high-end graphic card like NVIDIA RTX 5090 comes to the picture. Okay, having an RTX 5090 wouldn't just be a convenience, it would be a transformative tool for my education. It would allow me to perform complex computations much faster, work on larger data sets and more sophisticated models, gain practical experience, okay, reduce frustration and increase productivity. Thank you for considering my request and for always supporting my education. Nice. Key points to consider, okay? Good. So we have 3,000 tokens used in this situation. I would probably try to take a screenshot and then delete it so I can take an example of a non-thinking model, because we got to a lot of tokens, right? So I'm going to actually take a screenshot here, or let's actually take it at the moment where you have something shown better. Okay, so we got this right here. Then if I try to remove this completely, let's say I remove this guy, delete, and we delete this as well. Okay, so now we are back at 286. Now if I enable or disable thinking model, and if I run this again, let's see what happens. So now this is the non-thinking model that did not take too much of the token count. So I'm gonna also take a screenshot of this as well. So this is also to show you that when you invoke the thinking model, which shows you the thinking process, then it also shows you how many tokens it would consume as well. Okay, I think this was good. What else do we have here? These are good enough. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat as well. भाई आपकी शादी हो गई या वाइफ भी जॉब करती है? No, my wife doesn't work. And yes, I'm married, of course. That's why I have a wife. Okay, so we got how to rapidly prototype it. Good. Indexing, vector similarity, we talked about it. Basic rag demo, GitHub repo, prompt engineering, zero shot prompting. Advanced rag demo, ngcookbook.com, summary, and then the Angular crash course. And then we have this right here. I think we are good. One thing that I want to do is to use Gemini 2.5 instead of the model that we had before on my website. I think many of you may not know that if you go to angularcookbook.com, you can see, or you can ask for questions about Angular. For example, how to test or how to write unit tests in Angular. When you do so, it's going to go to Google, and then it will come back with a response, and it will give the response from the book actually. So sometimes it, yeah, this is something I notice as well. Sometimes it doesn't really continue. Let's say we regenerate it. Okay, this book covers the following recipes. Okay. Chapter 10. Okay. Can you give me an example of writing unit test? What if I just say, can you give me an example? I want to see. Okay, so it doesn't really take care of. It doesn't really take care of. The context in that case. So we have to do some magic around that. We'll see. Karthik, I can see that you're asking a lot of personal questions. So no personal questions from this point on. Let's see. What else can we get? If I just change the model to 2.5, then I still want to have the possibility of having the whole chat in there. And when it comes to the agents themselves, I also have to create the agents, create the sessions, and maintain the sessions as well, which I don't have at the moment, but I could actually do that for my let me know what you think about this idea. If we could have a chat agent, let's say on CodewithAhsan.dev on this website, not here, on here, if you asked it about a course, it could tell you the course from here, or from or details from one of the courses. If you asked it about a book, it could tell you about the books that are available. For example, these ones. And what else do we have here? So we have blog, we have courses, we have Discord. Could also have it talking about one of the things that's just about myself, like the links, etc. That could be one of the interesting things that we could do. But just for searching, I'm not really sure if that's a good job for agent. We'll see. I'm gonna do some more thinking about that, and we'll see where it goes. But I think for today, I think we are good. We can move towards the end of the stream. How long have we been streaming for? About 1 hour 40 minutes. So let's quickly wrap up. All right. So I hope you enjoyed what we did today, had some chat as well, and I'm going to see you next week. So take care, and as always, happy coding.